You guys, I have to tell you about the wildest thing that ever went down at Fat Tony's Burger. It's the cheap, greasy spot where every high school kid hangs out, right? Last Monday, the air literally cracked. It wasn't a fight, it was a slap. Boom! It echoed like a gunshot off the tile floor. A massive 6-foot-tall bully named Derek Thompson, the king of the school, had just decked a 12-year-old kid, Miguel. The sound of the slap was nothing compared to the sound of Miguel's backpack hitting the floor, spilling a handful of coins everywhere. His dark face snapped to the side, a red welt blooming where Derek's gold football ring hit him. "Learn to walk straight, kid," Derek snarled, towering over him, soaking up the laughter from his friends who were already pulling out their phones to film. Miguel, only 12, slowly got up. He didn't cry. He just touched his bruised cheek and started collecting his few scattered coins, his whole week's snack money. "Sorry," Miguel muttered. "Sorry doesn't pay for my sneakers you just stepped on," Derek laughed, then kicked the coins, scattering them further. "You know what these cost? More than your whole house, I bet." The teenagers were roaring. The phones were rolling. It was perfect viral humiliation. What nobody, and I mean nobody, noticed was Miguel. While he was humbly picking up his change, his eyes were razor sharp. He didn't reach for a coin. He discreetly flipped the recorder on his cell phone and slid it right under the nearby table. Evidence acquired. Even Dolores, the cook, just looked away. Derek was the local big shot's son. Miguel? Just another kid. Derek shoved Miguel against the wall, his arrogance boiling over. "My dad says people like you need to learn respect for people like us. Maybe a harsher lesson will teach you some manners." And this is where the story shifts, guys. This is the moment I still get chills thinking about. Miguel didn't flinch. He looked Derek dead in the eye, and with a disturbing, cold calm that didn't belong on a 12-year-old face, he said, "My dad also teaches me about respect and about consequences." Derek scoffed. "Your father? What father? I bet you don't even have one, like most." The sentence died in his throat. Miguel leaned in slightly, his voice dropping to a low, silk-smooth sound that made the air in the diner thick. "Vincenzo Torino. Maybe you know the name." The silence that followed was deafening. Even the background music seemed to stop. Torino. Everyone in that city, every adult, every student had grown up hearing whispers about the Torino family. Not the kind of whispers you ignore, the kind you hear in hushed tones. Businesses that never fail. Problems that simply disappear. Derek's face went white, but he was too deep, too filmed to back down. "Liar," he growled, but the shake in his voice was a dead giveaway. Miguel just smiled, a smile that was all calculating predator, no child. He calmly reached under the table, picked up his phone, checked the recording, and slipped it into his pocket. "Family is sacred," Miguel stated, his voice a promise. "And whoever messes with family, well, you're about to find out." Now, if you're enjoying this tale of an arrogant bully who just made the biggest mistake of his life, hit that like and subscribe button, because what happened next? It wasn't a school fight. It was an education. Derek didn't back off. For the next 3 days, he turned Miguel's school life into a calculated hell. Stolen backpacks, insulting notes, elbowing him during gym class. Coach Williams conveniently looked away. Derek was testing the boundary. He kept pushing, convinced the Mafia stories were a lie. Then came Friday. Derek and 4 of his cronies cornered Miguel by the deserted bathrooms. "I'm tired of your Mafia stories, Torino. My dad knows everyone important in this town." He pushed him hard against the tile. "Or what do you may call your imaginary daddy?" Miguel just smiled and did the unthinkable. He pulled out his phone. "Actually, good idea." "Hi, Dad. I'm here with Derek Thompson. You remember I told you about him?" The voice that answered on speaker was deep, controlled, and carried a subtle, dangerous Italian accent that the whole town had heard on news reports about successful businessman Vincenzo Torino. "Oh, yes, the Thompson boy. Give him the phone, son." Derek's face was sheet white. His friends were already backing away, practically dissolving into the hallway. He took the phone with a trembling hand. "Hello?" The voice was terrifyingly calm, polite, almost friendly. "I hear you and my son have had some misunderstandings. Let me explain something about family, kid. In my culture, family is sacred. When someone messes with my family, it becomes my personal problem." The voice paused. "I solve problems, Derek. It's been my specialty for many years. Now, you understand me very clearly, right?" "Yes, sir. I understand." That weekend, Derek didn't sleep. Every whisper he'd ever heard about the Torino family, businesses folding, rivals disappearing, police looking the other way, crashed down on him. He had humiliated the son of the man everyone either respected or outright feared. Monday arrived like a final grade. "Thompson!" The principal's voice echoed down the hall. "My office, now." In the principal's office, Derek was confronted with a folder. It wasn't just Miguel's recording. It was a full-blown dossier. Screenshots of Derek's offensive texts, photos of every stolen item, testimony from other students who suddenly decided to cooperate once they knew whose son Miguel was. Miguel hadn't just protected himself. He'd learned the lesson from his father perfectly. Documentation is power, and power well used is justice. Meanwhile, Miguel was in the library, not studying for a test, but finalizing a presentation, how technology can be used to document injustice. The story didn't end with a suspension. It ended in the school auditorium. Miguel, with the confidence of a CEO, presented his project to the entire school, parents, and even the local press. His first slide? A detailed timeline of 2 years of bullying with Derek Thompson's name highlighted in red on almost every line. He didn't just expose Derek, he exposed the school, the coach who looked away, and the culture that protected privileged abusers. He projected the videos, Derek's abuse, the humiliation, the cruel text messages. He showed evidence of 23 different victims over 2 years. The bully's mother was sobbing. His father was pale. Then Miguel looked straight at Derek, who was shaking in his seat. This presentation isn't about Derek Thompson. It's about all of us and how we choose between protecting violent, privileged people or protecting defenseless children. He had turned his own victimization into a systematic campaign against bullying at Lincoln High. Derek Thompson was not just defeated, he was completely outmaneuvered by a 12-year-old who had been taught that the best revenge is success, and that real power comes from the kind of justice that protects the next victim. Derek's family moved out of state a week later, his reputation in tatters. Miguel? He became the student council president, leading an anti-bullying program that went national. The lesson is simple. Underestimating someone based on their size, their age, or their silence is the first step to your own downfall. That bully didn't just mess with a 12-year-old kid, he slapped the son of a man who knows that dignity has no age and that justice waits for no one to grow up. If this story of how a kid flipped the script and turned humiliation into a movement inspired you, let me know in the comments. What do you think the Thompson family's Monday morning conversation with Vincenzo Torino was like? I'll be reading. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories where the weak become the powerful. See you in the next one.